and welcome back to part 30 of Death End Request, where today we'll be exploring the rest of the Landor Cave, finding that dragon, hopefully slaying it, and retrieving that terminal stone it ate so it can finally, after all this effort, get into Odysseia. So what are we looking for here? A menacing dragon. In olden times they called it an infernal worm, a fire-breathing beast that could burn an entire village down in seconds. If this sounds like the dragon we're looking for, then it should be roosting somewhere close. But I see no signs of any dragon nearby. I wonder if we should head in deeper, even if it is growing unbearably hotter. I think the infernal worm's original setting, lore, its favourite snack was lava mushrooms. Let's try and lure it out. Lava mushrooms, huh? Now that's what I call a hot commodity. There should be some sprouting throughout this cave. Let's gather some up. So then that's how we're going to get the dragon. We need to be finding lava mushrooms, which all appear in the second area of Landor Cave. So when you're ready, head over towards it. But the second area, or the second floor, or whatever you want to call it, is significantly more dangerous than the first. So be prepared for that as you enter. And what I mean by this is to do with the encounters. Although it's the same enemies, well, for the most part same enemies, you'll have much more of them in a single encounter, and you do need to be prepared for that because it becomes far easier for you to just get swarmed.
Successful ambush. Go.
Case in point, look at how many there are here.
All good.
And you'll see I'm going to make first priority trying to deal with the big guy, just for him to counter the physical attacks. I was like, oh, well, shit. And because and this is also around the point where I realised, oh, I never restored everyone's SP from that super boss fight from the end of last part. Whoops. So I had to quickly correct that there. Actually, I say that there was a random encounter that I think I skipped, actually, so it might have been just from that one I used it all. I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt that I did at least rest in camp for a minute. Cool, I'm getting a lot more uses out of the glitch form, which is odd, because at this point in the game I usually get no use out of the glitch forms, because Pandemic Self is just so helpful after this point, because your glitch resistance is just going to get too strong party-wide. And so how are they supposed to get you into glitch form easily without taking it like a dozen encounters, because each glitch spell will always put up by at least one regardless of your resistance. But now I'm in a sticky position, because I can't do anything until this big guy goes, and Celica's in her glitch form, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to try and hope, and then no. And it kills her. she's gone. Because I think it pushed her glitch percentage to 100. But whilst we're burning our way through here, I guess I've got new stuff to talk about, since we actually... It's an unlisted video as of this recording, but we actually got to see Death End Request 2's opening cinematic now. So we actually get to see what it's going to look like. And the style of the opening cinematic for the second game is in the same style of the first one. It's just, there's so many more questions. And I think the only thing that's bugging me is that, like, we're still so unsure about what characters are actually coming back and where this takes place in the story. Like, we know this, like, it is a sequel to the story and it is a continuation, but how? Like, this will be a discussion that I'll try and go more into after we've beat the game and we've got past the ending, because there's a lot to try and explain that's coming up in a few parts' time that I'm not sure how I'm going to explain it yet, but I'll give it a good go when we get to it. But when we do get to the ending and you see what I mean, where are we supposed to go from there when we get there? And so I'm not, like, where is it going to take place in the story? I'm not sure. But then there's also the fact of the matter of, we're still not sure what characters are actually coming back. I said, like, they had a magazine cover in June in Japan that showed that the first game's, like, RPG cast, so that being Sheena, Lily, Al, Clea, Lucille and Celica, are all returning in the next game to some extent, but to what extent we don't know. The only one that's vaguely there is, it's very evident to some extent, Sheena has got much more of a priority role. Like, she's not the protagonist, because there's someone else who's taking over the protagonist, but she's still very much a main role of the story, and a very key part of whatever's going on in the second game's narrative. Which I'm glad, because there is more to tell with Sheena's story. I know there is, and I'm glad that the sequel is addressing that. But we've yet to see even the slightest sign of anyone from the real world. Not even like the most minute little sign. We've yet to see Arata, we've yet to see Toki were, or Rin, or Munakata. We haven't heard anything about Wyrm and Glock. We haven't heard anything about Aggle or Aphesis or any of that. All of that stuff has been completely muted. Like we don't know if any of that is coming back. If something happened between games or something along that line, or whether they're just not going to be as significant to the story. Like, I can imagine it's the latter, they're just not going to be as significant to the story. Because I've got my theories of where the second game takes place, because that's another thing that is worth mentioning. Once the ending happens and I try and explain it, I will repeat it when we get there, but the interpretation of the ending I took might be different to your interpretation of the ending, and it doesn't mean you're wrong or I'm wrong. The ending of the first game is deliberately designed to be left open to interpretation. So I'll just give you what I think it means, but it doesn't mean it is what it means, and we're probably not going to know until the sequel comes out. And then I'll repeat that when we get there to it. It's just, like I said, the ending, it's extremely vague and raises far more questions than it answers. But there are answers there. It's just how you take them is gonna be different from person to person, and you have to kind of accept that and be a part of that. If what you feel the ending was is different to how I say it is, that doesn't mean you're wrong. But there is a save point right here, which I feel is a little redundant because that save point's right there. But if you run over here, there's another save point literally 30 seconds away from it. On the lava mushrooms around the corner here, by the way. What you need to get that our dragon friend to come land. There we go, there should be enough lava mushrooms. Oh, you really think these will lure up the infernal worm? They smell quite pungent, seems unsavory. Hey, you think we'll have any leftovers? I'd love to add them to my No! Claire, stop thinking with gold coins in your eyes! She's right, I know there's no telling when we might be able to find an item like this again, but the more we set out, the more likely the dragon will come. So be it. Alright, leave them here! Wait, Al, we should place them strategically. Whatever you say. As soon as you're ready, let's find a big open area for the dragon to swoop in.
What's this?
So yeah, we got that, but that enemy there is like the only enemy between us and the next save point, which makes me wonder why they bothered. Like, can you see two encounters? Well, look, the save crystal's right there. And that one's just, it's a boss save crystal, and they are going to start doing that moving forward. They're just having lone save crystals on their own near a boss, because the bosses are going to... I think the reason for it is less that because of the bosses themselves are going to be brutal, and more because coming up in the following chapters, every time there's a boss fight, there's going to be like 20 minutes worth of cutscenes immediately following it.
I've made my choice.
Remember in the opening of the game when we had like 3 parts straight of just cutscenes? Although it's not going to be as severe as that, we are approaching the page where the plot is going to start to all come together and things are going to start happening very quickly. And because of that, I think it's going to be like Tuesday, Wednesday part onwards next week, we're going to start having entirely cutscene parts again where I'm barely talking because it's all voice acted. Alright, here goes nothing. Oh, Tamoli! Those reek! Al, be quiet. There's nothing happening? Well, I guess we need to be patient. I mean, the music seems to imply that something's working. We've been waiting for some time now. I don't think it's coming. Maybe we didn't gather enough shrooms? It should be here any second now. Earthquake! It's coming, it's coming! I knew this menacing beast would rear its head. Let's get ourselves a terminal stone, ladies. Alright, everyone, fall in. Death End, immediately turn away and walk away. And this one's another long one, so I'm gonna have to shut up again.
We need to make sure we're prepared. If we don't grab the terminal stone here, it'll be the end of us. What are you talking about? The enemy's right in front of us! I know, but we've made it this far, and there's no telling what surprises we might run into.
I get that you're worried, but...
Hey! That infernal thing is flying off!
Should we look for more mushrooms?
What? It was such a pain, though! If we check thoroughly, we should be able to find more lava mushrooms. At least we know what kind of bait we need to trap it with.
Well, Odyssea wasn't built in a day. Another Celica zinger.
That is an epic quote! Ugh, I want to hurry and get to Odysseia already.
This heat makes me want to faint. How much longer must we stay?
Complain all you want. We still need to pick more lava mushrooms from out of the soil. I'm right behind you guys. Come on, look alive.
But it's so hot.
Lucille, your clothes seem too baggy. Want to switch?
Well, yours are too small. I can't fit in that.
Small? Who you call it small? Or are you talking about my chest?
Everything about you is small.
Why, I oughta...
Who cares? When you get older, they'll grow bigger.
Really? You promise? If it's coming from you, Celica, then it must be true.
When you get older, Sheena, you needn't worry about that. You're beautiful the way you are.
Fucking aw!
Yikes. I can't stand this heat. Does anyone else think it's only gotten hotter since we've come here?
You're right. The temperature is slowly rising. I think the earthquake scraped some of the volcanic plates together. There might be more magma rising from underground. At this rate, we're gonna bake in here. We need to find that terminal stone, and fast.
Okay. It's shaking again!
Ugh. Seems like that infernal worm is causing a ruckus throughout the cavern.
Hey! That last earthquake is turning this place into a goddamn sauna!
I've got a bad feeling about this. Sheena, let's hightail it out of here, girl!
Okay, fall back!
It's the Atoma Queen! God damn it, of all times! We don't need to fight! Retreat as quickly as you can!
Huh? It suddenly turned around.
Just our luck! Let's go!
Al, what's the matter? I slammed into a wall or something. I think my nose is broken.
Nope. Looks fine to me. Wall? I don't see anything.
Nuh-uh! Look at my face! I bumped into something!
It's true. There's an invisible map barrier here, but there shouldn't be.
Maybe the Antoma Queen cast it.
That seems to be the likeliest explanation.
Hal is right. There's a wall here, but it's totally invisible.
What? Don't tell me we can't proceed. There's a way through it, right?
No. I think we're stuck in here. Oh god! We'll burn to a crisp!
What do we do? What do we do? Ouch! It's burning up in here. There's no way out.
Is there no way for us to escape?
Leave it to me. Just hang tight, ladies.
I can't keep my eyes open. Izanashi, please hurry. Everyone is...
I know. Damn it. Where'd that barrier come from?
Ah! My clothes! They're catching fire! I feel miserable. It hurts.
Why? Why can't I find it?
It's hot! Ah! Izanashi, we can't hold on for much longer. The fire! Ah! Ah!
Damn it! Hey, can you hear me?
It burns!
enough of this! Why can't I save them? Why can't I save them?
It hurts!
Let me, at least. Ah!
Help!
There's no way to progress. I can't even kill them out of mercy. There's nothing I can do to fix it. I can't.
I want to die.
Don't leave me.
I want to die.
No!
Good news for people who are easily disturbed, that's the last long death end of the game. The only one left I've yet to show is another one where it's a black screen of just like a couple lines of writing, and that's it.
This thing is frightening.
So yeah, the last ones that are kind of disturbing, whether because of what they show or what they imply, they're all behind us, thankfully. But yeah, that one was when I found out about it, I was like, oh okay, that one probably won't be too bad, 'cause it's just walk away. Let me guess, the dragon just eats them and it's going to show the background of their swords, right? Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I saw it, and I was just like, oh no, that's not the route they go. The dragon doesn't do anything with them. The lava doesn't actually touch them or reach them. The lava just gets close enough that it sets them on fire, and then they burn up.
Your efforts are futile.
But they won't die straight away, because you know this game likes torturing people.
Are you not dead yet?
And then they just burn to a crisp and eventually die far later on after going through intense agony. Because, you know, that's fun.
Goodbye.
That's the thing, like, it is part of the package that you have to know this is what you're getting in for when you play this game, but it doesn't change the fact that some of them are a bit like, God bloody hell, really? Especially because that death end, obviously they're not canon. The only time that Lily's like been quite outward about how she feels towards Sheena, saying, oh, you're beautiful how you are, is the one time it's in a cutscene that isn't actually going to happen. It's not canon. And it's just like, God damn it, you could have found a way to squeeze that little bit of the cutscene in at least somewhere else. Like, just make it evident. Don't just go for the obvious ship of Sheena Arata and call it a day. Let Sheena be with Lily and let Tokyo be with Arata. Like, that's all you need to do. Is it that hard? But anyway, I should actually probably talk about the game itself, since we are fighting the dragon now. What's worth noting about the dragon, and you're going to notice if you were watching, I didn't spot it straight away and so I ended up biting for it. This boss isn't at 100% corruption when the fight starts, and I accidentally knocked it in 100% corruption, so its stats are boosted and it got a full health restore for the trouble. If you're using just plain physical attacks, you'll notice that its physical defense is obscene, so you can't really. You are relying on magic based physical attacks, like magic elemental but physical strikes, which is entirely Celica's thing, thankfully. Celica has all the cosmic-esque attacks, which are, although physical strikes, do use magical properties, so will be doing extra damage, and it's your best bet for doing damage. Alternatively, as I say for a lot of fights, poison is your best friend in this game as a whole. Poison is kinda ridiculous in the right context.
We've got no choice.
Because look, 132,800 damage was just dealt on the thing because of poison alone. Poison is such a helpful tool in this game that you should absolutely be trying to make the most of it. And like I say, if you've been playing it, if you play these games anything like I play them, you're probably going to have Sheena in your party still, because Sheena's the pro tag, so of course she would be. I say it's only the second and third members of the party that I mix up. It's the main reason why I haven't really had Sheena explore the field. It's like, well, you see her all the time in gameplay anyway, so she shouldn't really be the one exploring the field. She'll have her time again on the field though. I'm aware that I haven't really had her on the field for a stretch of time since like right near the start of the Let's Play. Like, I think it was like after we unlocked Lily and got out of Heart's Palace for the first time, I swapped to Lily and then we just never swapped back to Sheena. I always then moved on to Al and then Claire and then Lucille and then Celica, etc, etc. and then started jumping around between people, but I never actually went back to Sheena. But don't worry, Sheena will have her time in the spotlight again. It was just, I feel like everything that happens afterwards is more about the other guys' story, and just Sheena's just the background piece of it. So I didn't really want her on the front line running around as well. No kidding. Well, at least we won't have to work out later. We felled the beast. Now we just need to do is procure the terminal stone. All right, time to get the goods. I feel a bit guilty though. Oh, why Celica? Isn't it already dead? I mean, yes, but we need to slice open its stomach, don't we? Oh, maybe this isn't for the eyes of a child. Who are you calling a child? Alright, simmer down. I'll be done with this in a jiffy. Oh, so they won't show that, but but having everyone else get torn to shreds in defense, that's fine. I'm gonna be sick. Sorry, Mr. Wyrm. Oh, found the terminal stone. A hard-earned victory, but it was all worth it. Now that we've gotten the terminal stone, we can finally take the terminal to reach the gates of Odysseia, right? Yes. Yeah, finally! Is it time, is it? Odysseia, how exciting, no? Alright, let's get out of... Another earthquake! Get used to it already! There it is, something even more grotesque is waiting for us beyond this point. The Atoma Queen? Yeah, we might have a bit more unfinished business to do before we reactivate the terminal. Best to take care of it while we're here. Change of plans, let's throw that bug into a pit of lava. Right, one last push, let's do this. So yeah, it wouldn't be a new area if there wasn't a new Atoma Queen to fight, but the earthquake, as you might notice with the second floor that's suddenly been added, lowered the lava level in this area. When you're exploring, you might notice these paths that go down but just stop at lava, and you're like, okay, well what's the point of them? That's because they're paths down. There's two of them, there's one right here, and there's an additional one right near the start at the first save point of this floor that you can use as well. And I believe the lava level is actually lowered as well for the other floor of this area of Landor Cave, but that one doesn't really make a difference. There's no extra area to really explore, it's just more cosmetic. But this I like, the dungeon actually moulding and changing because of events you do. That's a cool idea. I want them to do more of that in the second game. I'd love for them to mess around with the formula a bit more in the second game. And I think that's the main thing. I just want the second game to be like, to mess around, to have a bit more fun with it. Because this game, like, its story is its biggest selling point. I am going to level with you right now. Its gameplay is great, but there are better things out there gameplay-wise that you can get a hold of for around the same price or even cheaper. But the story is what pulls it through. So have more fun with the gameplay while you're at it. We've acquired a terminal stone, but it seems too convenient. There isn't a Atoma Queen sniffing around here. No, I can sense it. It's here somewhere. Bingo, baby! Everyone, stick together. Yeesh, you kiss your mother with that mouth? It looks like it's been turned inside out. Are those tentacles? There's so many. Gross. I don't know what circle of hell this was spit out of, but I'm not scared of anything. Time to chop these tentacles off, one by one. Great job finding it, Sheena. I secretly hope we wouldn't. Why do they have to look so terrifying? Even the way it trudges is gross. Cool it, if you beat it fast enough it won't move. This has to be the source of the bugs in this area. I'll cover you from the rear, show it what you're made of. Okay. So from one boss to the next, and this one's design is something else. I know the Atoma Queens are all like really out there in their designs, but this one, like what? it's like a horror version of a tentacle. Spooky tentacle. Yeah. I mean, Tentacle's got to pay the bills somehow. After Sword and Shield cut out, you know, like 60% of the Pokemon in it.
Is this good? Your efforts are futile.
But thankfully, this one does give God, I keep on getting muddled on the names. It seems to be a common thing with this. Celica. It does give Celica much more use than we had with her in the last fight, because this enemy doesn't have a stupendously high resistance to physical attacks. It does feel like the bosses moving forward are compensating for Celica to an extent, because they know how powerful she can definitely be at this point. Like I said, her stats are pushing 999 on her attack right now. So she is ripping out insane damage per strike. So it does feel like the game, to an extent, is like, yeah, most players are probably going to have her stats maxed out, like her physical stats maxed out by this point. So we need the bosses to actually work against that, which will end up working against us more than they perhaps realise. Because if you decide to not use Celica in your party for any of the fights moving forward, you're going to feel it. Because the game's compensating for stupendous power, so if you don't have stupendous power, you're just going to fall behind. And for the whole of the next dungeon, I decide against using Celica because because like what I want to use for the final party, for the final stretch, I didn't want to be using them on the dungeon just before it, kind of thing. Like I wanted them to just be for the final push, so it doesn't just get redundant of seeing the same characters all the time. So the next proper dungeon, the DLC dungeon doesn't count because we'll be doing that like after this. So after this dungeon's finished, the next thing we're doing is the DLC dungeon, the second and last of the DLC dungeons. But when we actually advance the plot again next time properly, which will probably be part 32, because I haven't finished editing yet, so I assume it'll be 32, but we'll see. When I actually start advancing the plot properly, I'll be taking Celica out of the party and putting essentially my back row in for now. Like try and get Lily some more spotlight, because I'm aware that I've really been underusing her. If it's outside of Heart's Palace and when we didn't have enough party to swap her out with anyone, she's really been struggling. She's really been falling behind and really being underused. But this boss fight in particular, like I said, physically you do have a lot more you can work with against it, because it's not as resistant to it, so Celica can be used at your advantage. And the glitch spots in the area are amazing for filling up your glitch percentage really quick, even if you have a real high resistance. So make the most of them while you can. But you'll notice that despite the fact we've just ripped through 2 glitch forms on it, it's not lost that much health. And so eventually I'm like, well, it worked on the super boss, so let me try billiards on this boss and see what happens. And I miss. And I think I miss. Either that or it only did 1000 damage. But either way, they're not as it's not as helpful as you'd think. The billiards, like, it's not as weak to it as others. Your best bet instead is actually to use elemental magic again, which you can see I've probably just noticed with Al right this second, because almost all of Al's attack are elemental physical. So using that to your advantage, I was like, well, hang on a minute.
Is this good?
Okay, no, it wasn't this time around that I was aware of it, but eventually I become aware of it and start using Celica's like comet attacks and cosmic based attacks, the ones that are magic even if she shrinks physical, just because it should do the extra damage. And I also start getting experimental with the elemental, just in case it's got an elemental weakness, which I think it does. I think it's weak to sun, but the game, like I said, that's one of the things I want the sequel to clear up on. Maybe I've just been spoiled by things like Persona, but I love for the game to keep track on weaknesses you find, or just make it clearer if you hit a weakness. Because it's extremely difficult to know. Like, you have to just kind of experiment and pay attention to see if a number seems to be slightly higher, and it's not a critical number, because you can get critical hits with magic attacks in this game.
Alright, leave it to me.
Oh yeah, this is where I noticed and eventually go, well, what if I try Comet? And it does a bit more damage, not too much more, but enough to justify using that over Aster But I guess that can be said about the whole dungeon. The whole of Landor Cave, you'll notice, seems really against physical attacks. So whether it's that weird rhino enemy from last part that straight up counters all physical attacks, the really giant enemy that also counters physical attacks, and then 2 bosses back to back, where using just physical attacks or buffing physical attacks really doesn't seem to be the right decision. Like, this whole dungeon is built about testing your magic more than anything else, which is perfectly fine. I'm entirely on board with that. It's good to see. But as you can see, I finally go in for like a cheap physical attack and it just bops me for it. And I'm like, what? Why? You wasn't doing it before, so what changed here? I think it was more that it was deflecting the element, not the attack. Because keep in mind, Sheena's element is moon, and no one else's element is moon in our active party right this second. So I guess that's just what happened there. But after you defeat the Atomic Queen, you do get one last major spurt of memories for Sheena, so I'm going to have to shut up again for her.
This was bound to happen, wasn't it? Damn. I wish I could take the pain in her stead.
Sheena, you got this! We're here with you!
Oh, I can't keep seeing Sheena go through this.
Well, this is what she needs to regain her memories and rid the world of the Entoma. It's painful, but we need to support her.
She's writhing in agony. I hope it passes soon. Hang in there, Sheena! Hey, Sheena? What is it? You created this world, didn't you? Well, not on my own, but I'm one of the people who did. A lot of work went into this place. So, does that make you a god in this world, Sheena? I wouldn't say so. I was a part of a team, and all of us contributed to bring this world to life. How so? Well, we all have a voice, and we use our voices to make people interested in the worlds we create. Therefore, everything in this world exists because we imagine it so. I suppose that makes our imagination the god of this world. Know what I mean? I see. What about everyone else? Will I be able to meet them one day? I'm not sure. They all exist in the real world. Real world? Is that where you're from? Yep. Hopefully, when this world is done, then people from there will come here to visit. Then, I can go to the real world? That's a good question. I wonder if you could. Oh, I wish that I could visit your world, even for a little while, Sheena. I wish that too. I'm sorry you can't yet. No, it's okay. I love the world you've created, Sheena. What else? I can't wait to play in this world once it's done. Then we'll have more friends, right? Yeah, there'll be so many people to play with. Wow! I can't wait! Yeah, me neither.
It's relatively safe to assume that the girl that Sheena is talking to in her memories is Iris, but something that's worth paying attention to all of it is how happy she seems. Just putting it out there, keep that in mind for later. You don't need to speak, breathe in, slowly. You did well, Sheena. Sorry if I worried you again, guys. I couldn't have done it without you. How's your head feeling? Fine, I'm okay now. What a relief. So, what'd you see this time? I saw that girl again. She said that she loved this world and how she wished to spend time with me inside of it, that's all. She wants to spend time with you, huh? Guess you must have left a pretty good impression on her, like the two of you were really fond of one another. Yes, the memory of her still aches in my heart. Alright, we have to regroup and push forward, for her sake at least. Yeah, if we keep sitting around here, something might try and come take the terminal stone from us again. Point taken, come on Al, let's go, get up. Sure, time to go! Yeah, let's get out of here before we melt. Not like that could happen at all. Ugh. Meanwhile, so hard! What is? Cracking the Alice engine, obviously. The CEO has been teaching me how to code over the phone, so I've been tinkering here and there. But it's been 2 days, and I feel like I'm barely budged. Could I really make the NPC girls self-aware? Well, if you don't mind, could you maybe think about it after you cross the road? Let's get this shopping over with. All we need is water and a bunch of cup noodles. That's it. Yeah. In the middle of a bustling street, I was thrust in reverie, remembering a time when Sheena and I got into a huge argument on our way home. Who are you developing these games for anyway, Mizanashi? I know, I wish it was in our hands. I know how important it is for us to meet our clients' requirements, but considering the volume of revisions they requested, we're basically abandoning what we want to create. What's wrong with showing a little underwear? Don't act like a child, and why are you yelling? We're outside. Mizunashii, you're such a dum-dum. Why do you refuse to stand up for your own creations? Think about it. What? I want to offer our players a place to escape, one where they are unburdened by their lives. The hope is that when they log out, they emerge back into their lives with a renewed sense of purpose, that our stories resonate with them. Can't you see? We can change their lives, inspire a newfound curiosity, all because of the characters we had a hand in creating. That's why it's important for our players to customize their avatars however they'd like. That's a right that we owe to them. Okay, I got it. Well, not really, but I'll try and negotiate one more time for a compromise. What if we replace the panties with leggings? No, they need to be striped panties. I mean, the character has a fondness for striped because their childhood kitty was striped. Heh. The drugstore is useless. Why? They don't have any curry ramen. You're obsessed with curry, aren't you? Remember when they built that turret curry ramen cups at your desk? The office had a good laugh about it. What's there to laugh about? You Philistines are just too uncultured to appreciate good art. Imagine the curry-flavoured cup noodle, a symbol of the late-night office dweller, be purposed into a modern marvel. When the weight of the corporate fatigue beats me down, who is there to save me except for my beautiful curry cup tower? Be still, my heart, spare me. Oh, the smell, the way the soup thickens good inside of a cup, the meat that doesn't really taste like meat, and the dried potato. And just compliments. I told you, silly, it's my favourite. I'm sure there are dozens of people just like me. Good old turkey, well, I did see that Wyrm keeps a stash of hidden with backup on special occasions.
Speaking of Ren, I haven't seen her for a couple of days.
Yeah, I wonder if she went to check up on Munakata again. If you happen to see Ren, could you ask her to call me?
Understood. Alright, I was able to hack into the Alice Engine servers.
Great job! You're almost there. You're on the cusp of greatness. I'd expect nothing less from my prized apprentice.
Oh, thank you, sir. Alright, final push.
I think you've done enough work tonight. Human productivity peaks after 3 hours of labor, thus making you prone to error. We both know how even a single mistake in the code could spell catastrophe, right?
Point taken, sir.
Indeed. You should be proud of yourself, Mizunashii. I'll call you back in 6 hours. Good night.
Yes, sir. It's weird. Even though Munakata is seemingly nowhere to be found, we're still using all of his facilities. Ren is worried sick about you too. Come on, man, come back home.
I don't know how much longer I can sequester myself inside this safe house. Oh, it must be from Rin. Hello? Yes, it's me. Talk to me, Rin.
Sorry, she's a bit occupied at the moment. Too busy licking the sole of my shoe. We've got her half naked and covered in blood while we peel her fingernails off. Here, how about a picture? Enjoy the sights, Werner Glock. You bastard. You... Rin! You son of a bitch! I love it when she screams. Reminds me of her father, wouldn't you say?
God damn you! Victor!
That's right. Remember me now, dear friend? It's me, Victor Tailman. It's been a long time, Glock. The past has come back to haunt you. My. Who knew you were in Japan this whole time? You thought infiltrating Aggle would help, didn't you? You'll never learn. There's nowhere else to go. You'll rue the day you ran away from Ephesus.
Fuck you! What does Rin have to do with that? Let her go this instant.
Ha! But she's your daughter, an Atsukaze by blood. Does that worry you? Miss Rin is a stubborn one. She refuses to give up your location. Loyalty is hard to come by nowadays, but there's always more fun to be had in getting a girl to bend to your will. Hey, you don't need this tooth here, do you?
Stop it!
Rin, you know why we're taking your teeth out? It's so that when we chop you to bits and dump your remains, they can't trace whose body it is. Oh, scream, baby. Let it out. Tell me how afraid you are. This is your last chance. Give it up. What was that?
No! I will never tell you.
You bitch.
Stop it, Victor! It's me you're after!
Shut up, you useless nerd. You should have listened. I'll make you regret it.
Victor!
What can you do? You no longer have a body. I'm going to destroy you. Your apprentice, your company, everything. I'll destroy it all. If Rin has the gusto to spit out where you are, then I'll head right to you. Until then, give some thought to what I've told you, old friend.
I'll tell you where I am. Just let her go right now.
Oh. Huh.
No!
You can't. Even if you tell them, those bastards, they'll let my work be in vain.
Rin!
Even if they can use your weakness against you, you can't give in, right?
You deserve some credit, you know that, Rin? I've got to hand it to you. So, out of respect for your amazing character, I owe it to you to see how much torture you can really handle. Think you've got what it takes, both you and Clock.
Seriously, that dude is so evilly evil, it's not even funny. But we finally got Pandemic Self! Hey! But either way, next time on Death End Request, we'll be handling the second of the 2 DLC dungeons that were released for the game. But until then, you guys take care now.